This is a Squabble Studios production.
Hello and welcome to Squabble, a noisy quarrel about something petty or trivial. I'm Carter.
And I'm Jacob.
And hello everybody,
We're
welcome
back.
back.
It's been so long.
It's been
our breaks haven't been this long usually.
They really haven't, but we worked on some good stuff. Like
we did.
You saw Jake the Snackpocalypse stuff
Twice.
Cute clip of that.
Cool clip of that.
Cool clip of that. It's good stuff. If you haven't seen it, go watch it because we worked a bunch on that kind of stuff.
And there's still more coming.
And yeah, there's still more coming. So but today we're back, and we're back for you, back for us.
Happy, congratulations on 4 seasons of a podcast.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I think this season is going to be obviously
our best season yet.
Yes, because every season is going to be better than the last, I believe. And but I think that don't get hurt by this, podcast listeners. But I think we're going to make this one. I'm going to try to really edit the visuals, so it's still going to be audio centric.
Yes.
But
we're not going to do anything that you're going to miss out on if you're only listening. Is
right.
What he means.
However, we do post these on YouTube, so I want to make it visually pleasing.
Visually pleasing. Yes.
So that's all I was going to say. But should we just jump right into it?
I guess we should. I mean, I'm sure they're waiting. It's been so long.
Yeah. You're like, what did we come up with?
And we're starting it off with a stupid one today.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, it took us we've been on a break, so you must be thinking they must have so many good ideas and so much content ready.
We don't.
We do.
Yeah, we do actually.
You know how sometimes when you're like talking, you just like cry?
Yeah. If you like say something in a certain voice or something, and you're
and you or like maybe you're just talking too much and you start crying a little
Your
bit.
eyes start watering.
My eyes started watering.
Yeah, don't say crying. It's not like an emotional place. Your eyes just start watering.
You ever just start crying?
Yeah, Did you did the intro, right?
I did do the intro.
You said, hello, welcome to Squabble, a noisy quarrel about something petty or trivial?
I did say, hello, welcome to Squabble, a noisy quarrel about
something
petty.
For some reason, I missed it.
It's so natural.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Let me begin. We place absolute confidence in the Titanic. We believe the boat is unsinkable. That's a quote from Philip Franklin's vice president of the company that owned the Titanic, the White Star Line. God himself could not sink this ship. Wow. That was Edward John Smith from the Titanic movie.
So this is the ship they say is unsinkable.
It is unsinkable. God himself could not sink this ship.
We are coming home in a new unsinkable boat. Thomas Beatty, a passenger on the ship, riding back to his family. These two wonderful vessels are designed to be quite unsinkable. This was a quote from the Belfast Morning News, June 1st, 1911. Wait a second. Do a little rewind. These two vessels? Is that what they wrote? Yes. I don't think a lot of people know this, but the Titanic was one of 2 sister ships, actually.
Yes.
One was called the Titanic, and the other was called the Olympic.
Cool names.
Very cool names.
Mm-hmm.
You probably saw from the title about what this
episode you already
is.
know.
However,
unless we just throw a red herring in there and say it's something completely different.
Right. The title will be just red herring.
That's good.
I believe that the Titanic never sunk.
I've got pictures right here.
Yeah. Well, so I understand.
The Titanic under the water.
I understand that.
This is why I said it was a stupid one, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, let me explain.
What is that?
Let me explain. That's just you know what? I do know what that is actually, but I'm not going to tell you yet. I'm going to build up. I'm going to first give you some backstory, some history, and then I'm going to build up.
We love backstory.
Yes. So there were actually 2 unsinkable Titanics per se, but for some reason nobody seems to care about the second one
because that's the one that didn't sink.
Or did it? So the Olympic actually set sail way earlier than the Titanic, and it was significantly cheaper than the Titanic. The Titanic was, well, you already saw, I think, but did you see the prices?
No, I mean I glanced at them.
Would you like to take a guess how much it took to build the Titanic?
In today's money or their money?
In 2020. 2020 money, I converted everything to today's standard. If I accounted for inflation. How much money do you think it took to build the Titanic? It's high.
$1 million. Oh, higher than $1 million?
Higher than $1 million.
$2 million. $10 million.
$10 million. 400 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, try 400 million.
I'll try it. You
Okay,
have some?
try it. Yeah, I wish. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Squabble Studios.
So we can.
The Olympic. Do you know how much it took to build that? Significantly cheaper.
So I'm looking up when, because you just said that it set sail earlier. I wanted to see how much earlier. So I'm
It set
Googling
sail
that.
19. It's just like a couple months before, I believe.
What, a day before my birthday.
Oh, wow. The Titanic or the Olympic?
Olympic.
Wow. So you're the Olympic and I'm the Titanic in this scenario.
Let's see.
Because
April 10th.
oh, so a year later.
Yeah, the whole next year.
So yeah, it was a second. It was a hot second.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, the Olympic was only 195 million.
Wow, so that is
That is a
significantly less.
huge difference.
And both of them are more than what I guessed.
And both of them are more than what we have. We could never build a cruise
Not
ship.
yet. Patreon. Come through.
'Cause
We're
go
gonna
to
build the
Patreon so
next
we can
Titanic.
build the Squabble cruise line.
The Squabble Cruise Clyde? I can't speak. The Squoos. The Squoos.
That sounds like the next big cleaning project. You know, like what was that towel that was like could soak up anything? The
Shabwow. Shabam. Shabwow. Shaboom.
It was the
ShamWow.
ShamWow.
Is that what it was?
The ShamWow. You remember, it was a towel
Yes, there
that
is
soaked up
ShamWow.
anything.
Look at that guy. Remember
He
this
was
guy?
like he was like the 2010 what's the guy who stabs stuff now and puts tape over it?
What? Oh.
Now, that's a lot of damage.
I can't think of his name, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, that was the.
Wait, do they have a ShamWow mask now?
It's really,
They do.
wow. Anyway, I can't believe ShamWow is still going.
They even got that guy back for the mask commercial.
Anyway, so during the Olympics voyage, it actually, believe it or not, crashed into a fishing boat and received some minor damage to the hull.
The Olympic?
The Olympic did. So the Olympic set sail a year earlier, and during that year, ran into a fishing boat and received some minor damage to the hull. I have a picture here that I'll throw up on the screen right now. Whoosh. You see that?
That's the hole.
That's the hole. That's the hole in the hull.
That's the hole in the hole. That's the
That's
hole
the
in the
hole
hole.
in the hull.
The hole's hole.
Yeah, that's the hole.
The whole hole's hole.
That's the hole's hole.
It could be the whole hole's hole.
It could be, but it is.
The holy hole's hole.
It is the holy holes.
Okay.
Well, anyway, this seems like a big deal, considering that.
I mean, I guess it's a pretty small hole.
Yeah, but think
It's a
about-
big hole. But it's a small hole.
It's a huge hole,
But a small hole, comparatively.
relatively small hole.
Yes.
However,
Now, is that the whole hole? That the whole thing is the whole hole?
that's the whole hole, and that is the whole hole.
Okay, on the whole hole. That's not that funny.
It's not funny. It's stupid. Almost like the Titanic sinking. So stupid. Think about this, though. Think about this.
This is going to be another
release-
moon landing thing.
You run an ad campaign, right?
Mm-hmm.
And advertising that you've built 2 ships that are unsinkable.
Yeah.
Literally saying that God himself could not sink this ship.
Playing
And
fate.
one of your ships gets a hole in it its first year of sailing.
Yeah.
And that is completely overlooked?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. That seems like a pretty big deal for a ship that they're claiming to be unsinkable. Even if it didn't sink, it
So
received. So that's damage. That's
did it
not
sink?
just. That's not that's notable damage.
I mean, yeah. But did it sink?
It did not sink.
See?
But like, you'd think that is you'd think that would be at least newsworthy.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It was not. It was not. Why did we not hear about this? Why is this not?
Well,
in
I
our
think
history
nobody
books
wa-
right next to the Titanic.
Well, because it was probably fixed pretty quickly.
You think? Probably,
Okay.
but I know what happened.
Okay.
So this is what. So don't read my notes.
Okay. I mean, I will say it's not a small hole, but it's not a big hole.
It is a.
It's a big hole.
It's a huge hole. You viewers can decide whether you think this is a big hole or not. But let me explain. So the White Star Line, the company that owned these two ships, that built these two ships, they found out that after the repairs to the ship, to the Olympic, after the repairs, and this would obviously cause some damage to their entire marketing campaign.
Yeah. I would imagine.
That the Olympic is not going to turn a profit.
At all.
Right. They think that it will turn a profit, but it's not going to be more than how much they spent to build this ship. Like, they spent so much money, and so they're thinking that this is what they're thinking. They're going to have to pay to replace the hull, right? They're going to pay to have to fix
Well, just the
ship.
hole, not the hull.
Right, the hull.
They just have to fill in the hole.
Right. They might have to replace the hull. I don't know how ships work, but
Maybe.
so they're going to have to pay a ton of money to fix the ship. People are going to start finding out if they're having to dock this ship and fix it. People are going to start finding out that the ship is damaged. They're not going to trust the Titanic when it sets sail.
Well, it's got hit by a fishing boat. You act like it's its own fault.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're going to trust a ship that claimed to be unsinkable. It
Before it
it's
even set
obviously
sail, got a
not. I
hole.
mean, if someone sees this, it's going to be an obvious.
Well,
lie.
honestly, some people might look at that as a bluff, like a buff, like a better. Like, it got hit and it still didn't sink.
I mean, you could say somebody might look at it like that, but that's not what they were thinking at the
guess that's
time. So
People were stupid, man.
if people found out that this one could take this much damage from a single shipping, from the first year of its sailing, from a single fishing boat, they were worried that people wouldn't trust the Titanic either, and that they would not turn a profit because they would lose money on the Titanic and they would lose money on this, fixing it and whatnot. So, what did they do? Would you like to take a guess what they did?
They probably just fixed the hole.
Wrong. They didn't. I mean, they did actually, but wrong.
Okay.
For the quick paint job, they actually switched out.
They just painted over the hole.
They switched out. Excuse me. They switched out the two ships.
So, like, they put the Olympics name on the Titanic, put the Titanic's name on the Olympic.
Right. Exactly.
So you're telling me they put a bunch of people on a boat with a hole in it?
No.
Oh.
I mean, kind of. Here's what they did.
So now, like, in our history books, you're proposing that this picture, this ship with the hole in it, was the Titanic.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, it is right now. It's the Olympic.
It's the Olympic in this
mask as the
picture, yes.
Titanic. Yes. Well, so what they did, they did a semi-perfect, like a cover-up of the hole, right? Of the whole hole.
The hole's
They
hole.
covered it up. They didn't.
They
Like,
covered
fix it
the hole's whole hole.
Right. They covered the hole's hole, and they put the Titanic's name on this, and they switched them. And when they meant to sink the Olympic, which is now labeled as the Titanic, to claim insurance money. Now, you may be thinking, that's weird, but think about this. They're about to lose money. They're losing money on this ship, right?
Okay.
And so, they have a way high, and the Titanic costs way more to build. So it has a higher insurance gain.
Yeah.
So what they did was they decided that they were going to sink this ship, which would bring in more money than it cost to build the Olympic for insurance. Guess how much the insurance was? Guess how much money they received from the insurance?
How much?
$126 million.
Can we roll back up?
That is almost enough to cover the entire Olympic.
So they still lost money.
No, because they didn't. I mean, they might have lost money with the Olympic, but they didn't lose money during their, with the damage to their campaign, and people still got on the Titanic, and so they earned a ton of money from just people buying
But
tickets.
then killed them all.
Right.
So you're saying that they planted the iceberg? What do you mean?
Well, here's where it gets dicey.
I mean, was the captain in on it? Because he died, bro.
Here's where it gets a little, how you might say, fishy. All right.
On your side?
No, the story. Well,
Your
you can
story, I
No,
think.
you can decide.
Okay,
So anyway,
I
so
will.
yes, they switched the ships. They sunk the Olympic, which the insurance company thought was the Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
So they reaped the rewards of $126 million. So
Okay.
So yeah.
I apologize. I'm yawning an awful lot.
Yeah, is this boring to you?
No,
is this,
well-
is this absolute, historic travesty boring to you?
Look at my eyes water. Could you camera?
Hundreds of people died on this ship, and you're laughing and yawning?
You're the one saying that the captain killed himself, basically.
No, I did not say the captain was in on it. In fact, he wasn't.
Okay.
He was doing his duty.
So
He was doing his due
where'd the
due
iceberg come
diligence.
from?
The iceberg came from the ice, okay? Well, actually, was there an iceberg? No. That's actually what's happening right now. I was going to say that to the end, but there was no iceberg, all right?
Okay, well, just
there was
put that on hold and get back to where you were at, and then we'll get back there.
Okay.
We'll circle back to it.
Iceberg was faked. I thought you might ask. Oh, actually, will you ask? How did they get away with this?
And how did they get away with this?
Good question. How did the White Star Line get away with this? Well, say hello to my personal friend. No, not my friend, because he's a terrible person.
He killed a bunch of
hundreds
people.
Of
Actually, let's look up how many people were on the Titanic. How many did he kill?
J.P. Morgan. Thank you, J.P. Morgan, for killing everybody. Gosh. He was a famous American financer and a banker. Let's see how many people are on. Oh, 2,400 passengers.
No, 3,300 people because the crew brought it up to 3,300 people. 3,300
You
people.
killed thousands of people, J.P.
Well,
Morgan.
I think some might have lived.
Well, yeah, I think some.
Yeah, how many survived?
Lived as well. 705.
No, 705 individuals survived.
Well, anyway, so you killed still thousands of people, J.P. Morgan. Remember that name, J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan. He was an American financer,
John
a banker.
Perry.
No, I don't actually know. I think it's like Jacob or something. Jacob. He dominated corporate finance on Wall Street. Okay. You've actually probably read about him back in the day in high school.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
He was a top investor in White Star Line. Did you know that?
I didn't.
He was
I
an
do know.
investor in this cruise line. Now let's do it. Let me give you a little backstory on J.P. Morgan. First of all, he had a rockin' mustache.
Let me see. Is that him?
I don't have a picture of him.
I'll look him up.
Yeah, you look him up. Second of all, J.P. Morgan had a lot of enemies. Okay, and when I say a lot of, he also started Chase Bank. I forgot. J.P. Morgan, he was the beginner of Chase Bank.
Yeah, well, it is J.P. Morgan Chase.
Yeah, I guess his last name's Chase. I don't really know. Look at that rockin' mustache.
He looks very upset. Probably because he killed a lot of people.
Well, yeah, he did. Thank you for already knowing. Okay, he had a lot of enemies. Let me list them off here. John Jacob Astor. He was these are all corporate finance rivals in the industry.
Yes.
Okay, so John Jacob Astor, he was a businessman.
So right now we should look at this like a crime. Right now they have the motive. The motive. We need the means.
Right, he has the motive for the insurance money.
We'll get to the means. Yeah, I'm sure.
So we will. We'll get to all of this. We'll get to the murder weapon and everything. John Jacob Astor, he was a businessman, real estate developer, investor, inventor, writer, richest passenger on the Titanic.
Okay.
Richest passenger. In 2020, if we're taking his money and counting for inflation, he had about a $4 billion net worth.
Wow.
On the ship. He was the richest man in the 20th century. And then we have Isidore Straus. First of all, dope name. Second of all, he was a businessman, politician, and this is just a little for flavor, he was the co-owner of Macy's department store, which later turned into just Macy's.
Like the Macy's Day Parade.
Yes.
Wow. He makes the big floats.
Yeah,
float.
and he was on the Titanic. Did you know that? And
No.
he died.
Oh.
Benjamin Guggenheim.
Mm-hmm.
Equally as awesome name. He was a traveler, businessman, and his butler. Okay.
Okay.
Think about this. His butler is quoted as saying, "Iceberg? What is an iceberg?" That's strange. Wouldn't he know what an iceberg was if they were literally crashing into one?
What language did he speak?
German. He was German.
So he probably just didn't know what it meant in English.
No,
That's such an open phrase. That could mean so many things.
No.
Yes, it could. I thought you were about to defend yourself.
No,
more.
that's it.
It could mean
When they told him that the Titanic has hit an iceberg, he said, "What's an iceberg?"
maybe he wasn't outside.
Yeah, he was. I mean, come on, it's not that hard to get outside.
Well, you just say yeah, he was.
I don't actually know where he was.
See,
but
there's so
wouldn't
much
you just-
context
wouldn't
that
you
is
just
important
walk
here.
outside to look and be like, "Oh, that's an iceberg"? No, he literally is quoted as saying, "What is an iceberg?"
Maybe he didn't speak English and he was trying to say, what does that mean? That
The
seems more
word
appropriate.
iceberg can be translated to German. It's not like he doesn't know.
But it would be a
Right.
different. I'm looking up what is iceberg.
No,
in
but they
German.
told him in German, and he was like,
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. They spoke German. Anyway,
Oh, it does look a lot like iceberg.
look, it's iceberg.
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 It's just the same. You just
Iceberg.
like you're mad.
All German people are. Little known fact.
Correct.
We just lost any German listeners we had.
Sorry, German listeners. I don't know. Are you guys mad? I don't know. That's Russian. We're thinking about Russian people.
Ooh.
Is this wrong?
Now we've lost both.
Anyway, yeah. So let me put some evidence in it. This is you might think this
A lot
is,
to take in.
What?
A lot to take in.
There's a lot to take in, and I agree that so far this is a flimsy argument for blaming all this on J.P. Morgan, right?
A little. That's okay.
You want me to pin all this on J.P. Morgan? Well, I don't know. This next piece of information is some pretty substantial evidence. Okay. J.P. Morgan, guess how much money he spent on a ticket to the Titanic? Because he bought a ticket on the Titanic, by the way. Guess how much money he spent on his ticket? His ticket.
$3.
$3. No, $50,000.
Wow.
Now, don't look at my notes
Okay.
because I got stuff in here. Morgan, he actually planned to go on the Titanic, spending $50,000 on a ticket, and changed his mind the last second and didn't go. He could not refund his ticket. He literally spent $50,000 on a ticket and then decided not to go.
Did he ever say why he didn't go?
Nope. He was actually asked by reporters and would never give a straight reason why. That seems pretty sus.
We're gonna look up.
Right?
these.
Hey, don't fact check me. Come on. Trust me. Just trust me.
I
Just
do.
trust me.
I'd like to read it for myself.
So why did he want them dead, you might be asking? Because
True, he'd have to be a pretty crappy person to kill
Yeah.
that many people.
right. Well, mostly he wanted these three men dead because
They were his biggest competitors.
Were his biggest competitors in the finance community. They were rivals in Morgan's field, and politically, they were opposed to the creation of the Federal Reserve,
Which is what he would profit from.
which is what he wanted to be passed and what he would profit from. He wanted the Federal Reserve passed.
So
and
more
all
motive.
three of these men were opposed to it. He was the only one, and these guys had a huge influence over the people,
Yeah.
and over the people's vote, and over politicians. Because this guy, Jacob John Astor, he was the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, he can get a lot done. So he wanted them dead because he wanted to pass the Federal Reserve bill. So that's what happened, and he was working with the White Star Line. I'm not even finished, bro. What are you
Okay.
gonna say?
How did it actually sink then?
Oh, yeah, I'll get to that.
Okay. If there was no iceberg, apparently.
Yeah. Well, yes, there's no iceberg probably. I'll get to that. And the White Star Line was in on this the whole time. The company.
They were in on this?
Yes, they were. Because for a few reasons, their motive is their top investor is happy. Okay. And their top investor is gonna he basically, that's almost better than CEO, more profitable for the company.
True.
If the top investors
True.
are happy. And then two, they got their money back. Not only did they get their money from the insurance, but they basically build up the Titanic, so they got all that money. They didn't waste anything. Then they sunk the ship. So now they still have the Titanic, this $400 million ship. They got $126 million in insurance money.
Yeah.
Got money. They filled the whole ship, so they sold out tickets for the Titanic. So
Okay,
they
so they
charged
got-
way more
yeah.
to put people on a smaller boat, which was less expensive.
You'd think
So-
people would have noticed.
You'd think, but they didn't because they wouldn't know. No one's ever been on. So this is just a win-win-win-win-win for the White Star Line,
Okay.
minus the deaths and whatnot.
And the terrible press, is the White Star Line around anymore?
Is the White Star Line? I don't know.
Probably not. They probably were nobody probably went on their boats ever again after that, bro.
I didn't look into that, but
Why would they?
well, let me ask you this: where do you think the Titanic sank?
I honestly don't know that. I think I've read it before, but I don't remember.
You've seen pictures, right? First of all, iceberg, right? So it's
Yes.
got to be somewhere in the middle of the ocean. Maybe around the Arctic or something.
Well, I know it was north. It was up north
Right,
somewhere.
up north somewhere, right? You want to know where? It was 1,000 miles away from New York City.
Yeah, it was in the Atlantic Ocean.
It was 1,200 miles from New York. Now, I've never been to New York, but I've seen a lot of pictures of New York, and I have never seen icebergs. And definitely not icebergs big enough to sink a cruise ship. 1,000 miles from New York.
Cruise ships were a lot smaller back then. And you say yourself.
New York. There are no icebergs in New York. Throwback to when Guggenheim's butler said, "What is an iceberg?" The only reason he would say that is if he looked outside and didn't see an iceberg at all. Huh.
Well,
Interesting.
you
Yeah,
know,
you got to say
your
that.
personal experience is not
I wasn't
fact.
there. What do you mean? I wasn't there.
You said, well, I've seen pictures of New York. I've never seen the icebergs. You know, weather changes and, things happen. That's how kind of the world works.
I do not. There are no icebergs in New York. There's no. I believe it, and definitely not big enough to sink a Titanic.
see.
Okay, and so people from New York, New Yorkians out there, y'all ever see icebergs? Doubt it. I just doubt it. You keep doing Google searches. You're never gonna find it. Never gonna find it, because there's no icebergs in Titanic or in the New York, and that's it. That's the end of the line. Now, there's a few. So what else did it sink on? Right. That's the next question.
Yeah, sure.
There's a lot of theories. Okay. This was very covered up. This was very good. They did a really good job at covering all.
Did you
this
say
up.
this was a good thing?
No,
You said this was very good?
No. It was very. It was
Well
a very
done.
good crime.
It was a
well
job,
done
yes.
crime.
The perfect crime.
It was almost the perfect crime, because most of the people on the ship died.
Yeah.
So who's gonna know, how it actually sank, right?
Yeah.
There's a few options. There is a theory that the captain sunk the ship.
And killed himself? He was that committed? Guess he died.
Yeah, that's a theory. It's not a very good one. I understand. The next theory is that Guggenheim just paid off a ton of the engineers.
To also kill themselves.
No,
What good would money have been?
No, because they were he was just get on. They just expected to get on the ship, on the escape boat. Whether they did or not, that's what they expected to do. So he just paid them off.
Honestly, I think they would have known that, hey, if they're working down in the lower parts, they're probably lower class, which meant they were probably going to be one of the last ones to get on the thing. Plus, they were probably all men, and men were also the last to get on the boats. You think they would have known that? Are you looking it up? Did any...
I was just looking at a video that engineers survived or anything like that. Look, how many 25 engineers survived the Titanic. Oh, wait.
Survived. 10 electricians. No, wait, no.
There were
still
25 engineers and 10 electricians and none survived. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay. Did anyone from the boiler room survive the Titanic?
No, they were at the bottom of the ship, too.
John Priest survived. He was a... No, never mind.
Just forget about it, bro.
It doesn't matter.
They were willing to kill
they
themselves.
They expected to survive. Okay,
Okay.
he said, come on. If this guy's got $50,000 to waste on a ticket, you'd think he's probably gonna be like, hey, I'll drop $1 million for your family if you go down with the Titanic.
If he was embezzling that much money, they would have found out.
What do you mean? Who would have found out?
Just the press or somebody, his company would be like, why are you putting all this money, bro?
It's his company. What do you mean?
I guess.
Yeah, so there's a lot of theories of how it actually sank. The other theory is that it was doomed to sink from the beginning because they didn't really repair the hull.
Whole hole?
Yeah, they didn't repair the hull's hull. They just did what was...
Whole hole?
Yeah,
they didn't repair that?
Yeah, they didn't repair the whole hole's whole hole. They just covered it up basically just enough to get out for a few miles, and then it was just bound to sink already because the hole was filling with water, obviously.
Okay.
Or they repaired it enough for one of the engineers to just pop, open it up again.
I don't know this. I could probably look it up real quick, but let me actually do it. You said that the reason there was no iceberg is because one guy said, "Where's the iceberg?" But I could find a quote from somebody about the iceberg.
You could. I bet J.P. Morgan paid him off. That's what I'd say.
We're gonna look it up.
You could, and you will actually, because I too have looked that up. I decided not to include it. Oh yeah, see, there's Titanic.
Yeah, there's some right there.
Yeah, read that. What's that say?
Iceberg was.
Oh, that's a photo of the iceberg. Fake.
if this was taken just a few miles south of where the Titanic went down.
Oh, a few miles south from where the Titanic went down. That's weird. Wouldn't the Titanic go down right there with the iceberg?
The Titanic, or the thing moves, bro.
The iceberg?
It was a little bit after the Titanic. It was, let's see. I don't know how long. But look, no, here it says, the steward hadn't yet heard about the Titanic. This guy hadn't even heard about the Titanic yet. What caught his attention was the smear of red paint along the base of the iceberg, indicating that it had collided with the ship.
That guy seems like a fake man. What is it?
What?
Yeah, it seems fake. Now, look here. It just seems, you have to admit that there's a little bit of suspicion going on here. You have to admit that you at least are, you have 1 foot out the door. Do you have 1 foot in the door?
No.
You don't have even 1 foot out the door?
Wait, where? What are we talking about? I'm sorry, I was reading about the Titanic.
Are you not even, you have to be a little sus.
No, I will say this. Listen, you did do a very good job convincing, and it really isn't about you, but it is a pretty convincing argument.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact that
I think that JP Morgan thing had some fishy stuff going on.
Yeah, he's a fishy man.
But I don't think that he meant to sink the Titanic.
He did.
That's the part I'm not sold on. I'm not sold that there wasn't an iceberg and that it wasn't an accident.
I mean, okay, but the ship's switching.
That I can get behind that.
26 million.
But they didn't purposely.
126 million.
But they didn't purposely sink it. And if they did, then they were somehow magically steered it into the iceberg.
But either way.
But the captain wouldn't have killed himself.
Either way, so you do agree that the Titanic was not sank then? Sunk, whatever?
Yeah, sure.
All right, that's all I needed.
I think the Olympic was sunk and they slapped the Titanic name on it.
They did.
Yeah, I can get behind that one.
$126 million in insurance money. Who wouldn't? You know what I'm saying?
Sure, I would do it. Actually, I wouldn't. That's immoral. Actually, I might do that, but I definitely wouldn't kill the 2,000 people.
It's money laundering. I don't know if it's laundering. It's fraud. That's for sure.
Money lingerie. Is that what you said?
Now that is cool.
Money lingerie.
I bet that's a thing. Anyway,
I'm not looking.
Not that I would want to know. If
yes, you would.
So, thanks for tuning in.
Yep. Thanks. Let us know if he swayed you.
Yeah, did I sway
listeners.
you? Did J.P. Morgan sink the Titanic? No, he sunk the Olympic. Ooh, gotcha.
You were testing how well they were listening.
Yeah, were you listening?
If you said the Titanic, you weren't listening.
I guess that's it.
I guess that is it. It was a good start to season 4.
I thought so.
A good conspiracy theory to get everyone thinking. There's more to come.
Yeah, don't ever take anything at face value.
No, not even us.
Dig deeper. Yeah, don't take us at face value. What's beneath our face?
What's beneath
Dig
us?
deep.
Nothing's beneath me.
What's beneath us? What are we sitting on?
Chairs.
Where are we? Thanks for tuning in.
That was good.
Feel free to follow and like on the socials.
Don't just feel free to. You're encouraged to.
Don't just be encouraged. I command you.
No, I don't. Do
to
whatever.
Follow us on Instagram at Squabble Podcast. On subscribe on Patreon, patreon.com/Squabble Studios. YouTube. I think it's youtube.com/Squabble Studios.
But just look up Squabble's podcast. And
Yeah, I think we're on Spotify. You can find us on Spotify. You can find our audios pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts.
And our website.
SquabblePodcast.com.
Yes.
And I actually started a Twitter for us.
Yes. I said Wes.
You actually said Wes. So that's also at Squabble Studios. And believe it or not, we have a TikTok.
We do have a TikTok.
Literally,
they're pretty good.
We have literally everything. Literally everything. We have everything.
Not like a LinkedIn.
Darn it.
We don't have a LinkedIn.
Darn.
Or do we have like a Tumblr?
Oh, we don't have a Tumblr.
Dang. We'll get on those.
I don't think we will. I didn't even know Tumblr still existed.
Or LinkedIn.
Same with LinkedIn. People still use that.
I'm on LinkedIn all the time, bro. I stay on LinkedIn.
You surf the LinkedIn.
I surf the LinkedIn
homepage.
Yeah.
Check it up on your
my businessmen.
entrepreneur
Yeah, right.
friends.
Isn't that what?
Yeah, it's for. I think it's just
Like business people.
Yeah, it's. Oh, look how professional that.
Wow, it still looks nice.
Welcome to your professional community of LinkedIn. This is not an ad for LinkedIn. I actually hate LinkedIn.
Why?
Unless you want to sponsor us, LinkedIn, then you know what? Love you.
Sell out. Anyways.
It's called business.
Yes.
That's why we're on LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly. No, but anyways, thank you for listening. Stay squabbling.
And we will snap you later.
Yes, we will.
It's been a second.
For the first time.